It's projects like Opendoor Church in Greenville, North Carolina that we're reminded why we love what we do. It's not just a job, it's a relationship, and we're here to share wisdom and experience from the past 2 decades. Opendoor's pastor of communications, Michael Chandler, found us on YouTube back in 2014 as he was doing some research on Blackmagic design cameras, and he saw one of our reviews. They were looking to do some video upgrades at the time. We spoke briefly a couple times after that, but not much transpired until about 2 years later. He called to share some exciting news that Opendoor was entering into a building project and wanted Proton Global to serve as lead consultants overseeing tech design.
When it came time to step into this project and really we started getting in the details of all the production elements, Ricky was the guy I called. I picked up the phone and I called him and said, hey, would you be interested in really project managing this from the production, the AV side?
That meant flying out soon after for design meetings, working with architects and electrical engineers, mapping out wiring diagrams, conduit runs, and electrical, putting together equipment lists and budgets, and assembling the right team for install. My first visit, I met with lead pastor Aaron Kennedy and pastor Michael Chandler, and we discussed vision and goals. They gave me a tour of their existing sound booth and control room spaces, and I quickly realized how desperate they were for an overhaul. Outdated gear, more converters and adapters than the law allowed. I could tell they're really trying their best to be good stewards, pushing their old equipment to its limits. And they were executing well, but it just looked like 80s VHS quality video.
For years, we had a standard definition system through and through. Nothing digital anywhere near the system other than maybe the computer, but even that, we were converting it to be able to come out standard definition. A lot of things in our video system were held together with duct tape and prayer. And we did the best we could, and I think God does honor that.
I get really excited about projects like this when we're brought in on the ground floor instead of being called in late in the game to fix costly mistakes.
Many times in building projects, it appears that production is an afterthought. And in designing a building that works well and that works for your volunteers, works for your staff and your pastors, we had the vision of what we wanted to accomplish, but we needed someone to come along and say, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? This is the way, here's some options, here's how we can accomplish that. One of the horror stories that I've heard time and time again is the lack of integration, and that many times you'll have great systems that don't work well together. Our goal, honestly, was that if a volunteer can't learn how to use it and can't feel successful at using it, it's not a win for us. And so we weren't interested in having all this technology that only an expert knew how to run. We wanted technology that volunteers could get their hands on, that they could work with, that they could feel like they could succeed at using.
Our design team worked on the control room layout, rack design, acoustical design, house lighting and control, conduit and electrical runs, camera system, projection system, wireless microphones, in-ear monitors, etc. For the video design, Opendoor wanted their money to go further, so we turned to Blackmagic Design. Proton Global has become known for our complex Blackmagic design systems.
What I love about Blackmagic Design is that they're continuing to improve their products. And so they're always offering new patches, new updates, new software updates. And so what's cool about it is when you buy one of their cameras or one of their switchers or any of their equipment, you know that they're just going to continue improving it. They're just going to continue making it better.
The control room rack is the hub for the entire campus and features Blackmagic's ATEM 2ME Production Studio 4K switcher with the ATEM 1ME broadcast panel, 2 HybridX for recording, a smart video hub 40x40 which feeds nearly 20 LG 4K TVs throughout the campus and can be easily switched via the Smart Video Hub's iOS or macOS app. A Smart Scope Duo 4K provides vector scope and waveform monitors.
Blackmagic is really open with their SDKs, so basically a programmer guy like myself can actually go in and dig into the back end of things and really see how things are working. So we've got a QLab machine that controls everything. By using the automation tools that Blackmagic provides and that open source technology, we're basically able to program the equipment again to work for us. We're not kind of working for it. QLab actually ties in all the different elements of our service, so we have it set up with time of day triggers, so basically we know we're going to get started on time every time. QLab controls 5 machines right now, anything from lighting to video to audio, so we've actually automated ourselves out of worrisome transitions.
There's a total of 7 cameras. The 2 main cameras that are positioned at the center rear of the worship center, Our Blackmagic designs Ursa Mini 4K PL cameras with B4 adapters, Ursa Studio viewfinders, and on Sackler tripod heads. They are outfitted with Fujinon XA20 lenses with studio zoom and focus controls. The 5 remaining cameras are Blackmagic Micro Studio 4Ks, 4 of which have Olympus 12 to 40mm f2.8 MFT lenses, and 1 Olympus 7 to 14mm f2.8 MFT lens. One micro is static mounted to the rear of the room, providing a transitional cutaway of the full stage and worship center. The other 4 are located on stage at drums, keyboard, guitar, and a rear view of the stage, all on automated sliders. Worship is a huge priority for Opendoor, and they're pretty adamant about not wanting a jib or roving camera in the room, concerned it would be too distracting when first moving in the new building. Many of the automated slider or track systems are outrageously expensive, typically built to control just a single camera. Proton Global partnered with Kessler Crane, who helped find both a budget-friendly option and user-friendly option. Kessler's been a leader in automated rigs for the film industry, but when we approached them about a solution for live television production where multiple sliders could be simultaneously controlled by one single controller, we were pushing their engineers to the limits. After weeks of going back and forth, the solution was based around Kessler's CineDrive system and controlled via their proprietary KOS software, which we found runs best on macOS, directly connected to the CineDrive brain.
We're actually able to program in moves ahead of time. An operator can actually go up on stage and program a move in and set their times and their fade times specifically how they want it to look during worship. So you can configure speeds and all that kind of good stuff. But you get the clean, consistent shots and everything's predictable. So our video directors know exactly where the shots are going to be and when they're going to be there.
Renewed Vision's Pro Presenter 6 is running on Mac with Blackmagic's Ultra Studio 4K outputting key and fill to the switcher using the Alpha Keyer module. Opendoor uses ATEM's ME1 for broadcast and ME2 for iMag. They moved 2 Panasonic 720p projectors over from their old auditorium and using Pro Presenter's edge blending module created one ultra-wide image, mostly used for graphics and animation. That screen was custom made by Daylight. The 2 side screens for iMag are Daylight 220-inch perm walls with Digital Projection's new eVision Laser 10K projectors and ultra short throw lenses. Several iPod Touches were purchased and the Unity Intercom app installed, giving the crew affordable wireless communication, along with Unity's broadcast-style headsets from David Clark, offering exceptional noise cancellation. Network switches and access points are ubiquity. We also introduced Opendoor to the Boxcast streaming platform, which they absolutely love. Boxcast is such an easy and affordable solution for houses of worship, especially for volunteers. The crown jewel of the project for us techies has to be the custom stage boxes from Ace Backstage. These were designed with flexibility and expansion in mind.
So we designed them to be completely modular. We've got over 120 XLR inputs, so honestly we could grow as much as we want to and never have to worry about that. We've got Cat 5 and Cat 6 on stage, we've got SDI inputs, and we've got PowerCon. So if we ever do decide to spike the stage or something like that and roll everything off, we can quickly disconnect power and run everything off stage with no issues whatsoever.
One of the strengths of Proton Global is their networking ability and how many contacts they have. And they were able to ask us questions we hadn't even thought about. And that was instrumental in the process, instrumental in getting us to where we are today.
In the end, it saved us so much money, and we were able to accomplish so much more. I would also say you got to be careful about who you bring in. Because stewardship is a big issue in the kingdom. And so Ricky and his team, Proton Global, have been a tremendous blessing in us being able to accomplish something that was greater than we could have imagined, and honestly greater than our budget. And so we've been so blessed by that. And when we share it with other pastors, they're in awe of what we've been able to accomplish on the budget that we had.
The importance of hiring someone that can actually integrate for you, I think, is the difference between a good system and a great system. By having Proton step in with their experience with the Blackmagic stuff and working with Kessler to get all that taken care of, we're really able to see all these systems talk to each other, and everything works together really well.
If there's a church out there that is thinking about making a video upgrade, thinking about taking their production to the next step, or maybe you're looking at doing a building project, I can't encourage you enough. Contact Proton Global. They were an absolute joy to work with, and they were able to help us fulfill really what is our heart, which is to be good stewards, to use the resources that God gave us to do so much more than we ever thought possible.